doing this evening, and I'm so happy to be here this evening. I don't know the joy that is in my heart because this is actually our very first VIP webinar for entrepreneurs and business people. Okay, so I will intend to actually continue this. We intend to do it throughout this year. Okay, so yeah, I think I'll be leaving a link in the description so you can join our community. It's a very interactive community where we share ideas, we share tips on how you can make the best out of your brand. All right. So, but tonight we are specifically focusing on a topic I want to discuss, and that is the topic has to do with the future of branding. Okay. Now, I want you to understand that brands that actually understand what the future holds about branding and the whole industry. Okay, they are actually doing almost 10 times better than people that doesn't know about all these things that we're going to be talking about. But you're so lucky because you are going to be getting all this information from us. All right, because that's what I'm going to be treating this night. Okay, so maybe like what Johnny Willie said, he said he calls his own nice school. Okay, this is more like a nice school. All right, so I need you to pay a very close attention, and I need you to also have your pen with you, have your jotter with you. I need you to write down some soft so that you can always refer back to those things. Okay, so I'm so excited to have you all here, and I think this is my first time going live to talk about um something of this sort. Okay, so yeah, my heart is set, my mind is set to give you the very best. Okay, and nothing but the best. Okay, nothing but the best. All right, so yeah, so let's dive into what we have today, because my goal today is to actually shift your mind. My goal today is for you to begin. If you are thinking this low, you're going to think this high. Okay, so I want to take you from point A to point Z or CM, whatever, but just know that you will not remain the same person again after going through this webinar. Okay, because you have what is called a mind shift. Okay, yeah, so we are talking about the future of branding. And of course, you and I know that you cannot actually talk about the future of anything without referring back to where it came from or what has been used in the past. Okay, you can't really tell the story of how things are happening now without referring back to history. I think that is why they even have they call history, because you need to refer back to the history to know where things started from. Okay, I think the knowledge of history gives you a balanced understanding of what you ought to be doing or what you should improve on in the present. Okay, so it's good for us to always know what has been. Okay, so we can know what we're doing at this point to do better than it has been before now. All right, great. So, number one thing that we want to, as on my list here is the product era of branding. So, initially when branding started existing, I think from the 90s, okay, initially back in those days, it was actually based on the product. That means that people actually buy from you or choose to go with your brand based on the product itself that you are selling. Okay, now those that advertise in those days, what they do is that they actually talk about the features, the benefits, the quality of their product, and everything. And that is how people actually get to choose them. Now, if you are able to convince people that, okay, see, my own product actually works better, has this, has that, can do this, can do that, all those stuff. Okay, people actually choose to work with you. That's just how it works back in those days. All right. Now we now move into a new era, and that era is called the experience era. Now the experience era didn't just leave the product era alone; it carried the product era as well. But what happened was that it was now products plus experience put together. Now brands those times, okay, has great products because in fact there is no way you can actually sell or people can be able to buy into your brand if the product is not good. Okay, so product has to be there, it has to deliver on its promises and every other stuff. Okay, but then they now came into the point of experience. Now this experience, now how did these companies advertise? This company now comes and tell you that, okay, they communicated emotionally. Okay, I think that is when customer experiences begin to come into places, and all the rest. You understand? So that is the area of what experience. This is how you will feel when you use our product. This is the emotions you're going to feel when you work with our brand, when you choose us over our competitors or whatsoever. So that is the experience era. Okay. Now we with time, I think from 2010, yeah, we now moved to what is called the purpose era of branding. The purpose era of branding, and this is where you and I is right now. Why is this teaching so important? Why do we care about the future of brand? Why do we choose to start with this as a topic in our the more VIP brands? Why did we choose it over every other stuff that we could have actually worked with? Because we believe that for you to take control of the future, you need to have an understanding of what it looks like. Okay, you need to understand what is happening. There is one Bible verse that says something that the children of Issachar, right? They triumph over every other person because what they understand the seasons, they understand times and seasons. So understanding times and seasons actually puts you ahead of your competitors. Okay, and that is what we are trying to achieve this night. Okay, yeah. So from the product era to the experience era and then the purpose era. Now, what does the purpose era actually mean? And the purpose era is an era whereby people buy into your brand because of the purpose that is backing it up, the why that is backing it up, why you are doing what you're doing. That is one thing. That is just one thing that makes people to buy. Now we are the subtitle of this whole meeting is cracking the code to become an alpha in your industry. And yeah, I know that alpha actually means beginning, but I kind of just love the sound alpha. It makes so more sense to me that I just want to say, okay, now let's call it alpha. But what it actually means is for you to become a code to crack to become industrial leader in your niche. Okay, because you should also you should what have a niche. Okay, you should actually have a niche. So this is the code to crack to become industrial leader in your niche. Okay, be it fashion, be it photography, be it creative industry, be it whatever industry that you are into. Okay, you just need to learn how to move to the point where you become a key person of influence in that niche. And becoming a key person of influence to me it means becoming an alpha in your industry. Okay, great. Now, how do you become an alpha in your industry? How do you become a key person of influence? How do you become the number one in your industry? How do you climb up to this point? How do you do that? Okay, how do you do that? Now, number one way for you to do that is through owning a narrative. Okay, I'm going to be dwelling a little longer on this particular topic, okay, because this is where the main cake is, and I need to pay much attention. Owning the narrative, owning the narrative. Have you heard about that word before? Owning the narrative. What does it mean to own a narrative? What does it mean to own a narrative? Now, a narrative, now, like we know, I believe we all went to secondary school and primary school and all the rest. They taught us about narrative essay. Now, this is narrative essay. Now, when it comes to narrative essay, it's just you talking about something that happened. Now, when it comes to branding, you also meet that same word, owning a narrative. Now, owning a narrative is more deeper and more have layers in it than just narrative essay. So what we're talking about is not just narrative essay, it's something way more deeper than narrative essay. And it's something that can set you apart. Okay, and make you the best in whatever you are doing. So let's get into it. What does it mean to own a narrative? Owning a narrative means you controlling the opinion people have about your brand. Like I said in the beginning, you have a brand. All right, you have a brand because once you have an influence and people have their thoughts and they're thinking about what you are doing, you already have a brand. Now with this owning a narrative, you are somehow taking control of what people sees you at. And owning a narrative is just like it's some total of your ideology and you put it in your brand, tying it with your brand. That's what it's all about. You need to own a narrative. People need to associate you with a narrative. When they think about you, they think about this person. This is what this person is into. And let's take a close example. At the place, yeah, we all know Apple. Yeah, founder Steve Jobs. Yeah, right. Yeah. Now, when you think about apples, what comes into your mind? Innovation, right? Creativity and simplicity. Yeah, they have owned the narrative of simplicity because people that came before them were doing, they have competitors as of that time when they started recently, when they started, okay, they have competitors, they have people who are doing similar things that they are doing. But they came up with a narrative of simplifying the whole stuff. I watched a video of Steve Jobs. He came up the stage, of course, with his normal turtleneck polo and then a jean and a pair of shoe. Yeah. Now he stood there and then he was presenting something on the stage to people. And now, first of all, what he did was this. I think those days he did that stuff once when BlackBerry was still in use. Okay, it's no longer in use right now. I can't even remember since the last time I saw one. Okay, so he put on an image of a BlackBerry that have a lot of buttons, up to 30 buttons to press, 1, 2, 3, ABCD, a lot of buttons. Now said something. He said that now we are going to turn this device that has these many buttons into something, and then he showed them an iPhone that have a flat screen. And then he said something that actually sparked the audience. He said that we are going to produce something that you can use to click on it. And then he showed a pen. Okay. And the audience became so interested and they were just watching looking at him. But he said that no, that's not what we're going to do. We are going to create it in such a way that you can use your fingers to control the phone. Now, this is innovation. This is innovation. He owned that narrative. He owned that narrative. Okay, and I also want you to understand that there are two different type of narrative. One is the one that have not exist. Another one is leveling up on the existing one already. I mean, the one that have been already leveling up is up. Maybe people are thinking this low, but you came around and you're like, okay, I need to change this thing to become like this. Let's say, for example, this is fiction. All right. Let's say, for example, in Nigeria, they don't allow women to own a business. Now, you could own the narrative by stepping up and saying that yes, this is why Nigerian women should actually have a business, and you demonstrate it and you consistently create content about it and you push it with all innovation. You are owning that narrative. That once people think about, okay, who did this, they think about you. You are owning a narrative. You are owning a narrative. Okay, you are owning a narrative. Now we're going to be taking a case study to run down these things we are talking about. Okay, now for you to actually discover your and own your own narrative, okay, you need to do something. You need to follow the principles of discovering what this thing is. There are some questions that you just need to answer. Okay, so before we go to those questions, I want you to give me just a minute. Let me just check message here to see if I'm having comments here. Okay, all right, great. All right, all right, let's go ahead. Great. Now, there are some stuff you need questions you need to actually ask yourself. And number one is, where are you from? Where are you from? And this where are you from is not just asking you, maybe I'm from Nigeria, I'm from South Africa, I'm from here, there. That's not a physical location I'm talking about. What I mean by where you are from, it means what happened to you in your early age when you are still starting up life. I mean, things that influenced your mind, things that influence your perception about life. What happened to you when you're still growing up? What happened to you? And then we have the next one here, which is what challenges did you face as you're growing up to become an entrepreneur? What challenges did you face? And then the next question here is, how did you evolve? Evolve, yeah. How did you evolve? How did you evolve? That means that what did you do at the face of those challenges? Did you just quit? Did you just back down? Did you just let go of everything and then that was just it? What did you do? What did you do? Okay, great. Now, what do you stand for? That's another question. What do you stand for? What are your values? Okay, present. Then the last one is, what impact do you want to make? So I need you to write these things down because I actually want you to actually answer these questions. Nobody can answer these questions except you. And when you are patient enough to sit down and then answer these questions, give answers to these questions, okay, you will discover a narrative about your brand. And this thing is going to be like a force that can shape the way you interact, the way you show up, the way you package yourself, the way you go out in the public, the way you do the things that you do. It can shape all these things. It can shape it. I feel like saying hallelujah. I feel like saying hallelujah because this is hitting me directly to myself too. Okay, now we are gonna take a case study the life of a man. I think you know that person, and his name is Aliko Dangote. He's the founder of Dangote Group. Now, let's take the round again over again. Number one is what? Where are you from? Now, the initial background of Aliko Dangote, based on research, shows that he actually is a son of a successful merchant. Okay, that means that he's a son to someone who is already doing well. The dad has money, so that's his advantage. Okay, other stuff, yeah. Okay, great. Now, the next thing that he had was what? He initially owed he initially was imported commodities like sugar and cement. That was the thing that he started with. So your where you are from means how did you begin? Okay, let's say for example you are into the fashion industry. Okay, how did you begin? How was the starting point like? What happened? Did people say negative things about you when you're growing up? Did they have this doubt on you? Maybe you had an idea of doing something that will affect the globe, that will affect Nigeria as a globe, but you have people around you who came to you and said negative things about you. Those things can be your beginning. Those things can be where you are from. Those things can be the place you rose up from. Excuse me. All right. So like the White brothers, I mean the guys that made the aeroplane, okay, the guys that made the aeroplane. When they come up with the concept of seeing a man fly in the sky, people could not believe them. People did not believe them because people were like, it's not possible. It's not possible. So those self doubt is actually where those guys are coming from. So those things that happen to you in your early beginning are things that should fuel your passion, fuel your purpose, fuel your mission, fuel your narratives, fuel how you step out in the world, how you carry your brand around you. The White brothers, people doubted them. They didn't believe in what they can achieve because people feel like, oh, they are used to walking on the ground. But these guys came up with a destructive thinking. They want to see they want to see man fly. And how did they start? They evolved. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the next what part of this whole thing is the challenge, right? Am I right? Yeah, the challenge that he faced. Now, for Aliko Dangote, one of the challenges that he faced was um, in Nigerian poor infrastructure. Okay, because of I think this is the problem that most entrepreneurs face in Nigeria: lack of infrastructures. Because you could have a very brilliant ideas, but you don't have high resources to execute them. And once you don't have resources to execute them, most people actually give up. But you see, if you must become a thought leader in your industry, those obstacles should not stop you. You must look for your way. You must be flexible. You must look for ways to make sure you achieve what you want to achieve. Like the men I'm mentioning did, there is no person that will build a successful brand who did not face challenges. You are going to face challenges on your way to building a successful brand. You are going to face challenges. You are going to encounter people doubt you. You're going to encounter a whole lot of things that's going to happen to you. So for Dangote, he has this issue of infrastructure and then too much dependency on importation. Too much dependency on importation. Okay, so the next thing is how he evolved, right? Yeah, so how he evolved. Now he now shifted from mainly importing things from the outside to actually producing those things locally. See, that's how he started transforming. And if you look at the life of any person, okay, let's take for example, Tesla, yeah, Elon Musk, and all the rest, right? The beginning was like they had this idea of creating um, an electric car. And before then, what was in use has been in use have been cars that uses fuel energy to power the car. But they had doubts. People doubted them and said it's not possible. But they figured out a way to make it possible. That is what great leaders do. They always figure out a way to make things possible. Okay? Yeah. So great. So how did he evolve? He started producing locally. He started producing locally. Okay. The next thing that happened to him was that um um okay what he stand for. So what he stand for was is he wanted to reduce importation. He wanted to reduce importation and he wanted to increase exportation. This could be your dream. And I believe I'm speaking to CEOs, and that is how I think, that's how my mind is wired. And anything I do, any single thing I do, no matter how small it is, I always want to view it in a global realm. I want it to affect not just be Nigeria, I want it to affect the globe, I want it to affect not just Africa, but internationally. And this is how you ought to carry yourself. You also carry yourself in such a way that you see your business growing beyond you, growing to your point that it can cut across continents. Because people that actually build a great business and a great brand that is recognized all over the world, this is how they think. They're not just thinking America, they're thinking the whole world. They're not just thinking Africa, they're thinking about the whole world. This is how you should think. Maybe you might have a small business you're managing. I want you to see beyond it. What could you do that can change that stuff to become something that the world will recognize? Is by having a narrative around it. And this narrative is a story that your audience have been it appeals to your audience. This narrative that you have and those that it have emotion, it has a story with it, and people want to journey with you. They just want to journey with you. Okay. Now, what do Dangote stand for? It stands for what? Reducing was too much dependency on importation and focusing on what he decided to focus on doing it locally and exporting outside. Okay? Yeah, yeah. So the next thing was the next thing he stand for is what? Proving that Africa can build a world-class industrial empire. All right? A world-class industrial empire. Probably before then, there has not been anything like that. So that's how you have to take. What is it that have not been in my industry? What is it that has not been in my industry? to be a fashion industry. What have they not done before? What have they been doing that you think you need to level up on? That could be your narrative that you're building about your business, a narrative that you're building about your business, an ideology, a story that you're selling out to people. Okay, now let's take for example, for my own personal brand, and I think I have to, yeah, I have two brand. I'm managing my personal brand and the Mob Studio. Yeah, now, when it comes to my personal brand, I and that is David Okinwa. Yeah, that's me. Okay, yeah, I have some challenges. I have the ways I'm involving. This thing I'm doing is involving. It's actually for me. You're taking steps, doing something, not allowing the challenges to hold you back, but you are stepping out to actually do something that is going to benefit your purpose and benefit the people that are going to benefit from your own brand. All right. So from there you evolved and then you stand for something. What do I stand for? I believe that every idea can become great. Every small idea. I want to see people who think low to be going to think high. I want to see ideas to become something very physical. All right. So that is how you can own a narrative. Now, when you own a narrative, all right, when you understand and say, okay, this is a narrative I'm owning. Okay, it could be transforming Nigerians youth to think bigger or whatsoever thing that you have as your narrative. Okay, you need to change something and you need to present it consistently to your audience. You need to create content around your narrative and you need to innovate because people will not believe you for so long if you're not improving, if they are not seeing the result of what you're trying to do. So as you're creating content around the narrative, okay, people are seeing it. They are seeing it, they are seeing it. So this is what the future is like. Okay. This is what the future of branding is like. And the people that stand out are people that understand and own a narrative. They own a narrative. They just own a narrative. You need to own an ideology, something that have not been before. You need to start being in a system because you are there. Don't just do the same thing that everybody is doing in your industry. You don't just do that. You must do something different from whatever they are doing. You will do something differently because what you have a brand to build. You have a brand to build. Now, quickly, let's run on something you can do next. All right. So now, how to achieve success? After you have identified the narrative you want to push out to the world, the next thing you're going to do is to create consistent content that aligns with these narratives. Create consistent content to the point that people just when you think about it, you think about that particular thing that you always push across. Share your mindset with people. Share your ideology with people. This is where we are going to. Own your narrative. This is how to stand tall and make a difference. Okay, so if you have questions, you can drop it on the comment section. Um, I'll reply to all of them. Okay, no matter how whatever it is, I'll reply to each and every one of it. I'll reply to each, and if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are going to be doing this thing often. Okay, yeah, we're going to be doing this thing often once in every single month. Yeah, once every single month, we're going to be doing it. So I want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's going to help us to encourage us and to keep on bringing value to you because we really want you to succeed. We really want you to stand out. We really want you to build that brand of your dream. We really want you to build that business that you'll be proud of. Okay, and we want to partner with you to achieve these things. We want to partner with you. So please check the description and join community. Okay, it's a very interactive. It's a very fun place to be in. All right. So I appreciate you all for staying this long and going through these lectures, this training about how the future of branding. Okay. So I appreciate you all for staying and see you guys next time. All right. So I think I have to say goodbye now. So please drop your question below and I'll do well to actually answer them all. All right. Yeah.